60 degrees in downtown Sylacauga on this Thursday morning, the 6th day of February 2025. We're joined this morning by recently named head coach of the Childersburg Tigers, Coach Matt Zedaker. And Coach, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Good to have you with us today.
Sir.
And you've been on the ground, what, 2 or 3 weeks at Childersburg now?
3 days. This is my 4th day.
Okay.
Started Monday.
Wow.
Yep.
So what have you found there?
Athletes. A lot of athletes. Good people, great staff, great admin, and just high school kids. They're kids and excited about a new guy coming in, and so I am too. Mm-hmm.
So you were at Lincoln for how many years?
Say 7.5.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
this would have been my 8th year.
And Lincoln's a growing community, a lot of growth in that northern part of Talladega County. When did you begin? You had some success there. When did you begin to think about maybe it's time to move on to somewhere else?
I put 8 good years in there. Love the community, love the kids. It was a really good time in my professional career. We did win some games. We won a couple of region championships, went to the playoffs, but it was time for a change, and so we made that change. And
you kind of get a gut feel about stuff like that sometimes.
A little bit like that, yeah. And it was. I live in Childersburg, and so for 8 years I made that drive for 45 minutes. So it was just, it was a gut feeling, kind of the direction of where it was going, and just it was time,
How did you get started in coaching?
Oh, goodness. I knew I wanted to be a coach at a very young age. My father had a huge influence on me, coached me in all my sports growing up, Little League-wise. I had some tremendous mentors as I was coming through. Coach Don Flippo, Coach Steve Calabro were 2 huge influences on me. Loved how they coached me and coached. Mike Gibbs was another one. And just from those guys, I knew at an early age that's what I wanted to do. Went to college, was lucky enough to play a little college football, and just knew from the get-go I want to be part of this sport for the rest of my life. And then obviously getting into the profession, my first job at Sylacauga, I was around a lot of really good football coaches. When I came in, I was the young buck.
Some great minds, right?
Yeah, I was the young buck, and just absorbed everything. From a successful staff that won a lot of games, and it was Coach Blackman was obviously the head coach of Sylacauga then, and then Coach Tim Posey was a tremendous mentor on me defensively. Really groomed me on the defensive side of the ball, and I think he had a vision in me that he knew one day I was going to be a pretty good defensive guy, and then obviously when Coach Griffith came in, man, he really taught me work ethic and the grind of football, the work you got to put in to be successful on a Friday night. So I had some tremendous mentors that have molded me to where I am today, and then take all those life lessons and things that they've taught me and get to apply them to a young staff now. I got a tremendously young staff at Childersburg, and just teach them, the right and wrong ways to do it, and hopefully that you do it these ways, and this is how you build to be a good coach.
You were at Sylacauga, what, 16, 17 years?
17
like
years,
that?
yep.
Yeah.
Started in January 2000.
Yeah,
So.
and do you still kind of keep in contact with these folks that you mentioned?
Oh, yeah. In fact, we had a birthday party for Coach Robbie Richardson not too long ago, and it was fun. All those guys, majority of them, all came back, and it was pretty neat to see all
telling stories.
Oh,
huh?
yeah, and it was neat. But your coaching community, you make some really good friends in it, and a lot of times that's all your friends. That's the only friends you got if you're not having a good, successful year. So you rely on each other, but we keep in touch, and obviously have got a lot of phone calls and a lot of emails congratulating me on this new job.
You step into a position that Johnny Johnson had for many years. He's the athletic director there still, head basketball coach as well. When you came to Childersburg and Coach Johnson, decided it's time for him to step aside from football, what was your first thought when you were contacted about the Childersburg job?
Just a tremendous opportunity. Coach Johnson and I have a great relationship, have known each other a long time, competed against each other all the way back in high school, and then did a lot when I was at Lincoln with Lincoln and Childersburg. We like to do things local. So got a tremendous amount of respect for him. I think Coach Johnson's done a great job of kind of steering the ship in Childersburg when he took that over. You know, he's got kids out. He's very respected. He's got them working extremely hard. And you know, and I hope in the future that we continue to keep working with each other. I know he's in the middle of basketball season. We've got a big game against Hale County on Saturday, so we're going to make that run and see how far we can go in basketball. But you know, going to rely on him a lot, you know, because he's been in Childersburg all his life. He knows all the ways of how everything goes, and so relying on him a lot to kind of show me those ways, and then hopefully we'll continue to work.
His Coach Johnson's son's a quarterback over there.
He is. You know, he had a knee injury, and so he's probably going to take a year off and just get that thing really healed up, and hopefully I can get him back out of senior year.
Yeah. Well, Childersburg had some tough sailing in the last few years, and tough region they were in for sure. And you step in. So how do you put together your staff and get ready for spring practice and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so right now, you know, again, I said I started Monday, so I'm kind of taking this week as what I'm calling a grace period. I'm just kind of observing, seeing how the kids work, obviously, you know, starting to learn faces and names and mannerisms and how people work and things like that. But we'll hit the ground running probably next week. The majority of the staff that's there are in another sport. They're in a spring sport, so we'll have to do some morning meetings. But once we get that, you know, I'll share with them my vision, how I work, the work ethic we expect, what we want to create with our football program, and then just start putting the pieces together. You know, you got experience from zero to have worked maybe 1 year in football to 20, 25 years in football. Yeah. So it's just putting the right pieces in there and molding that together to how we're going to build that culture and how we're going to build that football team.
We're talking with Coach Matt Zedaker, recently named head football coach of the Childersburg Tigers on their football program. Talk about your vision that you have for this Childersburg team.
Yeah, so listen, you know, we've played Childersburg in some OTAs and spring games, and when we were 4A, we would play them in the same region. And the thing about Childersburg is when they get off the bus, I mean, you're sitting there going, my goodness, look at these athletes. You know what I mean? So the talent is there. There's very good athletic bodies there. I think, you know, Coach Johnson did a great job of going in the right direction. I think right now the first thing I'm going to work on is the mental aspect. You know, you got to put kids in a situation to fail in a controlled setting, and that's the big off season. You know, we're going to put a lot of different competitions on them where they may fail, and then you're going to analyze that failure. Hey, what contributed to that? What can I do better? How am I going to do better the next time I'm faced with this adversity? And as we build those adversities and teach them how we'd overcome that, then when we get in that big setting on a Friday night, I think that mental aspect where they've been maybe have been lacking a little bit, they're going to be able to handle those things.
What about and more schools are seeing this and putting a real emphasis on the strength program at Childersburg?
It's vital. You know, I'm a huge weight room guy. I think those situations we're going to put them in is where you start, and the weight room is where you build teams. It's where you the weight room is it doesn't lie. 100 pounds is 100 pounds. It reveals posers, and it reveals character. And so we'll do a lot of things right there where loyalty and brotherhood and rooting for each other is going to come together, because my style of football is a hard-nosed style of football. We want to know that after you've played the Childersburg Tigers, you're feeling it the next day, along with a lot of class and a lot of character. We're going to knock the snot out of you, and then we're going to pick you up, and we're going to come back and do it again. And so that's the mentality we're going to build.
So you yourself, as far as I know your strength was defense, but you know, you'll have to put some points on the board for sure.
Absolutely, absolutely. And again, I'm evaluating what we have. Something I'm excited about is we have a lot of linemen, you know, and that's something I haven't seen in a few years as far as big, heavy linemen. So you know, we got to figure out what we're going to do with the quarterback situation. But there's a lot of talent there. We got a tremendous receiver, a couple of them coming back. But we're going to lean on that offensive line. We're going to teach them how to get nasty in the trenches and push on people. And so I think our offense style will be an exciting style. We're going to start with the run first, but then it's going to open up all our play action and our pass. And so, you know, that's what spring's for. And so when we get into that, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, and I want to get to that before we go this morning. What type of spring do you anticipate at Childersburg?
Yeah, so listen, we're going to have to, obviously install our defense and our offense, different terminology. So it's a brand new both sides of the ball for these kids. So this entire offseason, we're going to utilize our 2 hours a week that the Alabama High School Athletic Association allows us to use, where we can start the kids that aren't in a spring sport. We can start introducing the terminology and the philosophy of what we're doing. We'll have a 2-week period. I just picked up a game yesterday. We're going to play Coosa Central on May 16th on a Friday. So it gives us 2 weeks right there. What I would say is we're probably going to have the base offense and the base defense in. About all you can get in 2 weeks. But more than that, we're just going to compete for 2 weeks in pads. Learn how to be physical, learn how to lean on people.
Time gets away so quickly.
It does.
You talk about 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months. It'll be football season again before you know it.
It is. But I tell you, one of the things I'm extremely happy about is I am coming in now as opposed to, at the end of the semester. So it gives me a couple months to build what we're doing, build that mentality, and again, get in that weight room and get extremely strong.
Is the schedule the same this year?
It's the same, just flip.
Yeah.
When we were on the road last year, we'll be at home this year. So.
And it's not an easy task either.
It's not, but we're going to take them one at a time. We got a home opener against Fayetteville. Fayetteville beat us last year, so that's going to be our sole focus to begin with. We can't go looking ahead, and so we're excited about it. It's a challenging schedule, but we feel there's some wins on that schedule too.
I know you're happy to be back close to home.
I am, and excited to be in the community. Like I said, I've lived in the community for 20 years. My wife is a graduate from Childersburg. I have a lot of great friends and best friends from the community, and just excited to be in the city where I'm coaching.
You know this, being in the Childersburg area, you know the passion of the Childersburg fans. They want to win. They expect to win.
They do, and I've had a lot of phone calls from a lot of influential people that are there that that are excited to see a different direction go and want to contribute to it, and so that's our job. That's going to be the job for me and my coaching staff and for our kids. To put a product on the field that our community can be proud of.
All right, Matt. Thanks a lot for dropping by, and good luck with the Childersburg Tiger football program. Coach Matt Zedaker, head football coach of the Childersburg Tigers, our guest. More Daybreak just ahead.